In this video, I'm going to review our SQL assignment 2. So basically, I have already posted the solution to the Blackboard, so you can download the file, the solution file, into your local laptop or computer to review the answers and the results and try to remember what we discussed in class. But in case you still don't know how to construct this query statement, so I make this video so you can see the detailed step how to construct this query statement. Okay, so let's get started. So first instruction, of course, as required, you should provide the SQL statements, the number results records, and the actual results. And you want to make sure your results are cleaned and nicely organized. No screenshots allowed, as I mentioned to you guys, right? And follow this example here. This is a question, and here is a query statement, and here number record, and here results without any formatting and screenshots. It's very clean format. Okay, let's get to the first question. This one asks us to list employee first name who processed at least 10 orders. Please sort the first name alphabetically, and we need to use both subquery and inner join to answer these questions. First, let's do it in inner join. As we said, inner join needs us to first read the question carefully to identify all the information we need and put it into one big single table, right? So information we need from 3 levels. First, what are tables we need? Then what are data fields we need? And then what a specific value we need to filter the data. So you can come up first with a table level, or most likely you will read some information from the question itself and get some data field data or value data. Then you go backward to find out which table contains that data attribute or contain that data value, right? Of course, I'm assuming you already have a very good understanding about that 8 tables, the loss one data sets, and how these 8 tables are connected together, and what table contain what attributes, right? So let's do it together for the first question. List employees first name. So we stop here. So basically, give us some information we can pick up. So we need to find the employee's first name. Employee first name comes from which table? For sure, it's come from employee table, right? So here we're going to say we're going to need employee table, and we're going to need the first name attributes inside that employee table. So let's keep going. Who processed at least 10 orders? Okay, let's stop again. So here give us some information, say we got orders. So that orders is a table. We need to count at least 10 orders. So 10 is a value, is a value, specific value we're going to use to filter our data. But we first need to count the number of orders. In order to count the number of orders, then we're going to have what information? We need to have the order ID information, because that's the best way for us to count number of orders, right? So order ID, which tables has order ID? Based on our understanding about that 8 tables, we know order tables has order ID for sure, right? That's a primary table for orders. Then we know order detail table also contains order ID, because in order detail table, order ID is a foreign key to connect with order table. So we have 2 candidates for the order ID to count the number of orders. One is orders table, another one is order details table, okay? So then we keep reading. Please sort the first name alphabetically. So basically here we say we need the first name, of course, come from the employee table. So basically here we do not need to identify any new tables because we already identified the employee tables. So based on our understanding, we say if we want to answer these questions, we got 3 level information. The first level, table level. So we need 2 tables. The first one is employee tables. The second one is order tables or order detail tables, right? So, but here, of course, if we just count number of orders, we know we only need the order tables because we can connect employee with order tables, and we do not need to join the order detail tables because we do not need any other information from the order detail table. What we need here just order ID, and order table already has order ID, and we can connect order table with the employee table directly. Of course, is based on our background knowledge, right? So we do not have to use the order detail table. So we can remove order detail table from our candidates. So we only need two tables, employee table and order tables. Then from the data attributes level, we need the first name from employee table, and then we need the order ID from order tables, right? So, and finally, do we have any specific value to compare to filter our data? And yes, that's a third level of data, which is 10 here. So we need a 10, we need a number 10 to filter the number of order processed by employee, right? After we have a good understanding about what data we need from all the three levels, then we can go ahead and to construct the query statement. So we go to the W3 school, right? So first, let's work on the inner join. For the inner join, the main procedure is to join the table together we need. Then work that single table as if it's a big table. Then we just do data fields filtering and data value filtering, okay? So as we just discussed, we need a table for the employee and orders. And so we just select anything. So far, we put the asterisk here as a placeholder from employee table as A, give it a name, inner join order tables as a B. So on A the employee ID equal to B the employee ID. As I said, I always check the join to make sure it joined correctly. So it sounds like it joined correctly. So we have this join is done. So we treat it as if it's a big table, and this big table has all the data fields come from employee table, and all data fields come from the order table, okay? So here what we need to do, we want to make sure we are going to group the number of orders by each employee's first name, and then we filter only those employees first name with number of order is equal or greater than 10. That's basically we just follow the question, right? So here we're going to say we're going to count the number of order processed by each employee first name. So we employee here we say put the first name here, first name, and then we're going to count the number of order, count the number of order ID, right? That's basically number of order ID means number of order processed. So this statement should be able to give us the list of the first name of employees and the number of order processed by each employee, right? Oh, of course, we do not have the T yet because we have replaced other T from that join table, right? So we replace this T back with this join table we just did. So right now, we should be able to get all the employees' first name along with the number of order processed by each employee. Of course, we can give this as a more better name. So basically, we say this is the number of orders. So we click it again. So this name has been changed. So give us clear idea what, who processed how many orders. But here, this is just from the table level. Then we have the data attributes level. Then we're going to use the data value level information to filter the data. Say we want to only pick the employee who has processed at least 10 orders. So basically we're going to use having order of numbers. Just copy here and greater or equal to 10. So as I mentioned, if we are limiting the number based on the calculated data fields, this number order does not exist in the original table structure. This number order is a data field we calculated, which is an aggregated data value by each first name. Okay, so that means we have to use having, because this value, I say, is calculated by using a group statement. So once we have this one, you get a correct answer for here. And of course, finally, we're going to order our results by first name. Right? So we're going to order alphabetically. So that's fine. Just keep it default order. So we get this information. So we have this query statement, which is a inner join statement. Then we just post back to this number records and results. We just get into this one, right? So here's the results. Of course, as I mentioned, we do not want to use this type of format. So you can clear the format, or when you paste it, you paste as value. Both way, whichever work for you. Then we are going to work on a subquery. Subquery, the preparation work is still we need to figure out what data we need from the 3 levels. But we use that 3-level data in a little bit different order. In the inner join, we use a table level data first. So we put those table, whatever table list, join them together. Then we use our attributes level to filter any data, or use that data attribute to create some kind of calculated field. Then finally, we use a data value level to do a filtering here, right? For example, here is 10 to filter data. For subquery, we still need to understand all those 3-level data we need, but we start from, but we use a different order. So first, we want to build the construct. So just the top structure of a subquery. So basically, that's why we are going to want the information. So what is the final output? What is the final output of this question? This question asks us to list employee's first name. So that's basically give us the idea. Say we want the employee's first name. That's our final output. Then of course we also need to check out whether we need to filter the data, right? If the filter can be applied to the employee table directly, I mean can be filtered on any data attributes inside the employee table, we can do it directly. Otherwise, we can just use a subquery to do it, okay? So let's do it together. Of course, we're going to clean all this up. So I say first, we only want to list the employee's first name from, of course, employee table. That's basically our understanding. So that's the employee's first name, right? And we can also put the file results. We're going to order the employee's first name alphabetically, right? So we just put the whole information here. This is the result we need, but of course, this is not all the information we need. So we want to filter the first name. We want to make sure we only list the employee's first name who has processed at least 10 orders. So how can we filter this data? That's basically we're going to filter by using a where condition. And because the data value 10 to limit the data cannot be applied to the employee table directly. So we're going to find a way, which is use a subquery, right? Subquery, we can get the number of order processed as we discussed from the order table. And from the order table, we can calculate the number of order processed by each employee ID, right? So if we can limit on employee ID, here, of course, we can definitely limit the employee. So basically, we want to make sure we are going to limit employee ID in this X. So basically, we only want to find out those employee ID who processed at least 10 orders. Then we can use this employee ID to find out, to limit only those first name of the employee who has processed at least 10 orders, right? So how can we find the employee ID who has processed at least 10 orders? We can use this one to, of course, if we want to keep typing like this, from or count the order ID from orders table, right? Group by similarly employee ID. So basically here give us list all employee ID and the number of order processed by each employee ID. Then we're going to say if you open a new one to check this one, because we cannot execute two statements here together from this web interface. So if we click the new one and copy this thing here, so here we got instead of having employee's first name, here we are having employee's ID because we only use one table. In order table do not have employee's first name, right? They only have employee's ID. But here we can still calculate the number of order processed by each employee ID. So, but we do not want all employee ID. We are going to put a having condition, say having this count. I say you can give it information, give it a name, order like this. Having orders is greater or equal to 10. So that will give us the 8 employee ID. So all this employee ID has processed at least 10 orders, right? Of course, as we mentioned multiple times in class, the where condition here, we only want to compare the employee ID. So we only want to return a list of employee ID from this subquery. So we do not want to return 2 attributes, otherwise it will get some problem. So of course we're going to delete this one to only list the employee ID column. But here, because we use a number of order here, so a number order has been deleted from here, so this will give us an error message. So you can see here, because we do not have number of orders, because we cannot use it if we delete that one from here. So we just simply type the original information here, order ID, like this. So this will give us 8 employee ID who has processed at least 10 orders. So we just replace this one. Copy here, this is X. X should be like this, right? Because we know this subquery we're going to return a list of 8 employee ID. Then we replace this one. As long as this employee ID is one of the 8 employee ID in that list, in this list, we're going to pick up the first name corresponds to that employee ID, right? So here we just cut this one and replace this one here, and that's it. So basically it will give us 8 first name with each of the first name has connected with the employee ID, and this each of employee ID we get from the order table. They have processed at least 10 orders. Then we just need to copy this statement and paste back to our worksheet along with it the results. Right, so that's basically we got this information. As mentioned, we need to remove the format, make the a clear copy of data. So you can see when we compare the two results, there's a difference. The subquery does not have the number of orders, which has less information. That's because so our subquery only uses one top table, employee. And from employee, we cannot get the number of order because that number of order is get from the order table, and that information we use inside the subquery as a filter. Okay, so we do not have access to that information because that information is created on the fly and used as a filter. Once this filter is done, that information is gone. So we can only access the information from the top level table, which is the employee. On the other hand, for the inner join, we create the big table and join this big table together. So as I said, we have a table, a single table called T. That single table called T contains all the data fields come from the 2 big tables and from 2 original tables, and along with all the calculated data fields we calculated. So in other words, if we use inner join, we can access much more information because we can access the original data fields come from those original table joined, and all the calculated data fields we produced, right? So in the use of subquery, we can only access the information from the top level table because all the subquery information we used is just used to do a filtering. So that's a big difference of between the subquery and the inner join. As you can see, we have spent a lot of time talking about the first question because I want to build a foundation about how to construct the query. In summaries, the both query, so we need a 3-level information by reading the questions. The first level, table level, what are those tables we need? The second level, what are those data fields from each table we need? And then the third level, what data value provided by in the question we need to filter the data. Okay, so for the inner join, we just put all table together first, then we work down to filter by the data attributes and filter by data value, or even we need to create some additional data fields. For the subquery, we find out what are the final data we need to output and find out that table first and build that structure. Then we fill in that missing part and using the subquery and using other information, maybe some calculator fields, but eventually we can only get data from the top table. So we cannot get those information we created just for filtering purpose. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, so let's conclude this video. I'm going to talk about the rest of the questions in other videos.